Very good morning to everyone. And on behalf of Amity Institute of Molecular Medicine and Stem Cell Research, Amity University, Uttar Pradesh, Noida, I welcome you all in this webinar. And in today's webinar, we have a speaker from Delhi University, from Khalsa College, Dr. Bhagwant Kaur. We have Professor Gurinder Singh sir here, Vice Chancellor, MIT Education Group. We have a Dr. B.C. Das sir, Dean of Health and Allied Sciences. We have Dr. Chandradeep Tandon sir, Dean of Biosciences and Biotechnology. We have Professor Simran Tandon ma'am from MIT Institute of Molecular Medicine and Stem Cell Research, and Dr. Sonia Kapoor from Molecular Medicine and Stem Cell Research. So I don't think introduction is required for today's webinar, but little bit information I would like to give. So I would prefer to speak in Hindi few words. विश्व इतिहास में धर्म, मानवीय मूल्यों, आदर्शों एवं सिद्धांतों की रक्षा के लिए प्राणों की आहुति देने वाले में गुरु तेग बहादुर साहब का स्थान अद्वितीय है। शांति, क्षमा, सहनशीलता के गुणों वाले गुरु तेग बहादुर जी ने लोगों को प्रेम, एकता व भाईचारे का संदेश दिया। उनके जीवन का प्रथम दर्शन यही था कि धर्म का मार्ग सत्य और विजय का मार्ग है। त्याग, सहनशीलता और क्षमा, ये सारी चीजें इनके उन आदर्शों में हैं। इन्होंने भारत के जो धर्मों का रक्षा किया वो अद्वितीय है। इसी के साथ मैं डॉक्टर बीसी दास सर को इनवाइट करूंगा कि वो फ्यू वर्ड्स शेयर करें।
Thank you, Dr. Dhruv, and very good morning to one and all. It is a great occasion that we have assembled here, and this webinar has been organized at Amity University. It is the great Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji's the birth anniversary, which is generally observed on 1st April. But this time it is a special occasion because it is 400 years. This 2021 is declared as marked as the 400-year birth anniversary of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, and this will be observed for throughout the years. But we have organized now today, and that's, I would say that this is a great occasion and a auspicious day. It is celebrated mostly on April 1, that is the birthday of his the great persons. He is known for his role in protection of, everybody knows that the protection of the Sikhs and Hindus, both against the 17th century law that was enacted by the then Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb, that they should be converted into Islam. He was against of it, and he was a great person, traveled to different parts of India, and he preached the tenets of great Guru Nanak Ji, and he was ultimately killed in Delhi only in 1675 on the that by the Mughal emperor, on the order of the Mughal emperor, the Aurangzeb, and because he refused to embrace Islam. So his son is such a great person. His son is a famous guru, the last guru in the Sikh community, that the Sikh guru is the Guru Gobind Singh, and who everybody knows that who transformed the Sikh community to a martial race. Everybody knows throughout the world, rather, to counter the might of the Mughals. He was contributed a lot of, besides this, he has also contributed a lot of hymns and great, and the a lot of the great, which is part of the great Guru Granth Sahib, and many slokas and couplets. So, and that is the great contribution. His works are included in Adi Granth. So, those who are an expert in this and the community, from this community, they know very well. But it is a unique opportunity to bring our younger generation to remember these great people's contributions. We are forgetting, and not only great Guru Tegh Bahadur ji, but many other the freedom fighters and great people, the new generations, they do not know even. So it is important, and it's a great initiative of this university as well as from the UGC to make these things, to make a point that the new generation also remembers, at least they know their contributions, their deeds, what they did for the country and the community. It is important to remember them, and that's why we thought it is an excellent opportunity to organize this. And with that, our Honorable Vice Chancellor also given us the advice and also guidance to that you should organize that. So we felt it that it is an essential, it is a very important things to organize. And besides doing our regular academics and research and all, it is important to remember these peoples, and that will contribute in our career. And we should remember and we should follow their path. And these are great people. And this we can imagine, everybody can imagine that we are remembering him after 400 years. So it's not a fourth century after. So this is a great thing, because they have there are several organizations, several institutions have come up in his name, and the great hospital, Tegh Bahadur Hospital, everybody knows. So many other organizations are there. The year 2021 has been now marked for the whole year to celebrate this his birth anniversary. So on this occasion, we have invited Professor Bhagwant Kaur, who has also has some interest, though she is from the English literature, but she being from the same community and has lot of interest. We have gathered that she keeps a lot of interest on this aspects, and that's why, and she is from the Khalsa College of the Delhi University. So we thought, and she has kindly agreed to give this webinar. We are thankful, madam, for making it convenient to accept our invitation and to join to this webinar. And so thank you so much. With these few words, I welcome all in this webinar. And this is with the, we seek the blessings of our founder president, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan, who is the great philosopher and visionary who created this Amity. We call it Amity Universe. Means all universities, there are 11 campuses or 12 campuses now in India, in the universities, and 17 campuses abroad, including a huge campus of the Long Island campus, which is coming as a global hub of research and innovation. So I will not go into much of the detail of that. So there are many other speakers who will be able to share many things. Most importantly, Professor Gurinder Singh and also our Madam Vice Chancellor. So, and also blessings of our honorable, most dynamic, the Chancellor, Dr. Atul Chauhan, who is the Chancellor of this university, also many other university, and he is the president of the foundation of the our World Foundations. And so with these few words, I welcome you all again, and also the specifically the our today's speaker on this great occasion of the Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji's birth anniversary. Thank you very much for your participation. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your thoughts. Before I invite our today's speaker, may I kindly request Professor Dr. Gurinder Singh, sir, to share his views and thoughts.
Thank you, and what a privilege to welcome our very renowned scholar, Dr. Bhagwant Kaurji, who belongs to Khalsa College. Very warm welcome on behalf of the entire MIT family. And I think all of you are very lucky, those who are attending this very important webinar, because this is a webinar which is a need of today. When your founder, Dr. Ashok Chauhan, and Chancellor, Dr. Atul Chauhan, along with the 11 vice chancellors, all the heads of the various institutions, they were conceptualizing that how we should celebrate and how we should be able to celebrate the 400th birthday of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. We thought that why not to do something extraordinary. We are amongst the very few universities which have taken this step forward. And my special compliments to Dr. B.C. Das, our chairman of and dean of the Health and Allied Sciences, and Dr. Chirandeep Tandon, who is so ably leading as a dean of biotechnology. And good to see Dr. Simran Tandon and Dr. Sonia, Mr. Dhruv, our vice chancellor, Dr. Shukla, all of them, those who have come together for this very historical webinar which we are organizing. I'm too small as a person to talk about Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. But if you look at his life, you will find that there's so much to learn from him. So much to learn from him. If you look at the history, and often Dr. Chauhan, who's your founder, says that history is very, very important. Because if you want to grow, you need to see that what history has to teach you. So if you look at the history of India, India has been invaded by many, many people. And they have tried to slave us. Right? Thrice we have been slaved by the people. But every time anyone has come to India and everyone who has tried to slave, there were some saints, there were some soldiers, there was some power which has always risen and has given the message that kuch baat hai ki hasti mitti nahi hamari, sadiyon raha hai dushman dore jahan hamara. There is something unique in this country. There is something unique in our blood. There is something unique in our religion. There is something unique in our countrymen that anyone who has tried to suppress us has finally been suppressed. And that was actually when the Mughal emperor was dying, he wrote that I feel that I have tried to suppress our religion. I have tried to suppress the Hindus. I have tried to suppress the Khalsas. And today, what I'm getting the message is that this country, this religion cannot be ever suppressed. There are many questions, and a few days back I was speaking in another webinar where they were talking the messages of Guru Tegh Bahadur. And if you look at his life, he could have easily fought it, a war. But the message which he gave was that if you want to convert Brahmins, and I'm sure that Dr. Kaur, you will be talking much about his life, but just a very brief message that when everyone was being converted, when the Brahmins, Kashmiri Pandits in Jammu and Kashmir, they were being converted and forcibly being converted into another religion. Right? And they came to Guru Tegh Bahadur, and they said that, Guruji, this is what is happening. What should we do? There was such a bold message which Guru Tegh Bahadur gave. He said that go and tell Delhi that if they are able to convert Guru Tegh Bahadur, if they will be able to convert me into their religion, everyone, every Hindu of this country will be converted into Islam. This message went to the emperor, and he felt very offended that how can it be possible that someone can challenge the emperor? And as they say, and in Guru Granth Sahib, it has been written that one who gives up his ego and beholds the Lord is ultimately the winner. There are few people whom pain doesn't affect. And Guru Tegh Bahadur was called to Delhi.
Good morning, Dr. Das.
He was given all kind of temptations to convert into another religion. But Guru Tegh Bahadur said that I will like to sacrifice my life for the next generation so that they can get a message that if it is important to sacrifice your life, you should never hesitate to give your life. And finally, he sacrificed his life. And if you look at that, how difficult it was to see hundreds and hundreds of his disciples who were not only gave their life but were tortured. Right? And if you sometimes go to the Sikh Museum, which is there in Bangla Sahib, or if you go to Seeskan Sahib and see the stories of those who were being martyred, 4-month-old child was thrown in the air, right? Was thrown in the air. And then when they were coming down, they were divided into two. And then their mother was told, can you save, if you want to save your child, you need to convert. And she says, no, I will sacrifice my life. There were people who were sitting in the mainstream near the Red Fort, and they started cutting piece by piece their bodies. And they said that will you like to be converted? We will make you Nawabs of Delhi. They said, no, we will sacrifice. And that is what you should always feel proud, that you are sons and daughters of those great saints. You belong to this great country. And that is how Hindu religion became one of the strongest religion. And that is how Khalsa was created by his son, Guru Gobind Singh later. And that is how, if you look at the history of Indian armed forces, you will find that everyone who used to be the first son in every Hindu family was taken as Sikh, was taken at Khalsa. Khalsa means Shuddh. And their job was to protect the country. I don't have words. There are so many stories which we can tell today, but there are very few in the world who have not sacrificed their own life, but who have sacrificed their son's life. Guru Gobind Singh sacrificed his own life. And if you look at his four sons, his grandsons, they also sacrificed their life. So today is a day that you should see that how the great people of this country have been able to create a history. The freedom which today you are enjoying, it's not easy. So enjoy your freedom, but do remember it's not free. It comes at a cost. This country has a great future, but all of you need to understand that we belong to this country and we need to make this country strong. I will end with the small couplet of Iqbal, which says, "Na samjhoge to mit jaoge." If you still not learn, you will be finished. "Na samjhoge to mit jaoge, ए गुलिस्तां वालों, तुम्हारी दास्तां तक भी न होगी दास्तानों में, वतन की फिक्र कर नादा मुसीबत आने वाली है, तेरी बर्बादियों के चहचहे हैं आसमानों." It is in your hand, this country is in your hand. Please see that this is a rich country, rich culture. Proudly say that you are Indian and you will take everyone along. And again, I will end with the two lines which says, "Sare jahan se acha Hindustan hamara, और कुछ बात है कि हस्ती मिट्टी नहीं हमारी, सदियों रहा है दुश्मन दौरे जहां हमारा." Let's celebrate 400th birthday of Guru Tegh Bahadur with this spirit. May God bless each one of you. And once again, thank you, Professor B.C. Das, Dr. Taranjeet Tandon. I can see our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Bhupinder Shukla, for organizing this wonderful webinar. And this was a message of our respected founder, who has always believed that we should be able to do something for the country. So thank you, our founder, thank you, our chancellor, and thank you everyone who's attending and making these celebrations so very special.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your views and thoughts and inspirational words. So, Honorable Vice Chancellor, ma'am is here now. So, may I request Dr. B.C. Das, sir, to welcome her.
I once again come to this picture that I now welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Balvinder Shukla, who has been in the help of the matters. He is a great educationist and he is a most dynamic vice chancellor of Amity University. And she is the person who, with her guidance and the advice, we have organized this. And she only once called us that it is the UGC mandate now, and this year is marked for the anniversary 400th anniversary of the great Guru Tegh Bahadur ji. So you should organize that. So we immediately thought of organizing that. So I now invite Professor Dr. Balvinder Shukla, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, to give us grace the occasion and to deliver a special address on this auspicious occasion. Madam Vice Chancellor.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Das, my very esteemed colleagues, our group vice chancellor, Dr. Singh, all the deans, heads of institution. This is I'm so happy and delighted that Amity University is organizing, that celebrating the fourth 400th birth anniversary of our most respected, our Guru Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, who laid the who sacrificed so much that his whole family is has been sacrificed just to save the humanity and start the new path, which was laid the foundation by our first Guru Nanak Dev Ji. So if we go by the life of our Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, his life is very, very interesting, full of sacrifices, and he all the time have thought of the humanity, that how to save the humanity, how to save the the heritage, the that that which India is a very rich heritage. So how to save that heritage, how to save the cultural values, and how to save the religion, because at the time of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, there were different kind of challenges, but by the time our ninth Guru came, at that time the atrocities were increased so much at the time of that Aurangzeb, the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb, that for him was that only there is the one religion, and that is the Islam, and nothing else. And the rest, all the people, if they are the kafir, and they have no right to survive. Either they to convert or they should perish. And so therefore, at that time, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, because the Mughals, most of the Mughals have come from the northwest, from the, irrespective whether they are coming from the Russia side or from anywhere, they all were coming to the northwest side. And so the most affected part of the country was the Kashmir. And so the Kashmiri Pandits, they were being forced to convert, to Islam, and their daughters, the ladies were being taken away, and you know, kind of the slaughtering was happening. And so those Kashmiri Pandits ran to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji that please save us from these atrocities. And Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji said that, tell the that Aurangzeb that if you can convert our Guru to Islam, we all will convert to to Islam. So that's how that this came. And then when Aurangzeb, you know, mm, met Guru Tegh Bahadur ji, and he said, "You convert to Islam," and he said, "No, I would not convert to Islam, and whatever you have to do, you do it." And that's how the atrocities on his people is increased many folds. That live people are being made to sit on the hot plates, or being put in the boiled oil. So many, or they were being cut into the by the saw, and all those atrocity. But none of his followers were changing the religion. And the Aurangzeb was getting so frustrated that despite having the so many atrocities, that how come this man and his followers are being so strong? Because they believed that almighty power. They believed in the God, which is the superpower, and this will not be the whatever the God's hukum is, that will not change from that. And so finally, that because Aurangzeb was not able to win over, then he finally said, that you know remove his head, cut his head. And that's the when it came. And what that uh, the in November 1960, the 1675, in Delhi, the Chandni Chowk, what my the group VC Dr. Gurinder Singh was sharing, that the two places in Delhi are very important for us, and which are very linked with the Guru Tegh Bahadur ji. One is the Chandni Chowk, where his head was removed from his body, and because this was the fatwa was given by Aurangzeb. And the second is the Rakabganj Gurdwara, where his the cremation was done. So these two places are extremely important for not only for the Sikhs, but I think for the whole human race. Had he not given the sacrifice at that time, maybe the face of India would have been altogether different. And when we look at that today, with the names of the street or anything, we find that we don't find that many streets by his name, but we find that so many streets in the country with the names of the Mughal emperors and all those things. And the sacrifices which have been done by Guru Tegh Bahadur ji, and subsequently his son Guru Gobind Singh ji, and where the Guru Gobind Singh ji has lost the complete family, sacrificed whole family, including his the very young children, all the four sons, whether it was the fight at Champur, or whether it was the fight in Sarhan, where his sons have been put in the war's life. So I think that UGC, we must compliment, appreciate UGC, that UGC have started bringing this very important historical, the great leaders of 16th century and 17th century, that who have so much contributed in this, for the humanity and for the nation. And those are being today recognized, and their history is being discussed in the various universities. And because when that mm, the Jallad has removed his head from the, that Guru Tegh Bahadur ji did not even the slightest, showed the pain or anything, that he very happily he accepted, because he knew that his sacrifice is going to immensely contribute to the humanity, to save the humanity. And that his son, that Guru, our 10th Guru, the last Guru, Guru Gobind Singh ji, you know, has very nicely have written the sacrifices. Father, that we have that Vichitra Natak, that in that, that he said, Tilak Janju Rakha Prabhataka, कीनो बड़ी कलु मई साका, साधन होत इत जिन करी, शीस दिया पर सीना उचरी, धर्म हेत साका जिन किया, शीस दिया पर सिर ना दिया. Means for the religion, for the dharma, for the humanity, the Guru Tegh Bahadur ji accepted to give his head, but he did not bow his head uh, before the before the Aurangzeb. And that's the, I think that the learning for us is that how do we remain on the righteous path, how we think for the nation before we think for ourselves, how do we think for the humanity before we think for ourselves, how can we make this world, this society, this nation, where there's a respect for everybody, there's a freedom for everybody what they want to follow, rather than bringing them to, to that you follow only this. How can we give? So I think we had a great learning, and I think that we have already made a calendar in the university level where we will be having celebrations of the all the great personalities coming from the various walks of life, including the from the for the religious lives, that how they have contributed and started the practices and contributed to the humanities, and how can we make the history of this, relive the history of, bring the history in front of the youth. They learn from these teachings and be the brave good human being. And as a university, it is our responsibility, when our honorable founder president have started, the human values day we used to celebrate, then the human values quarter week started celebrating. Now we celebrate the human values quarter. And I think during the human values quarter, discussing, debating the teachings of the various gurus, the religious gurus, or the teachings of the the leaders from other walks of life, whether they are from the political life or anything. How can we inculcate the values in our students is extremely important. So, Dr. Das, I would like to appreciate and congratulate for your initiative, for that for organizing this webinar. And I'm sure that today's discussion and deliberations will surely inspire the students, and I'm sure that they will have the interest in reading about the life of Guru Tegh Bahadur ji, and will also try to follow the learnings and the teachings of Guru Tegh Bahadur ji, that how to be, to be fearless, how to be, that to be the straightforward, and how to you have the value based, and and how you think all the time to help or serve the society, uh, and uh, and to make this uh, place a better place to live and thrive. So thank you very much for organizing this great webinar.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sharing your valuable thoughts and views, ma'am, on this occasion. With this, now I would like to introduce our today's speaker, Dr. Uh, Bhagwant Kaur. She is an associate professor at Khalsa College in English department. She has done masters
Jessica?
from Chandigarh University, and she is also a gold medalist. After that, she has done PhD from Jamia Millia Islamia, and she has more than 25 years of teaching experience. And she is a topmost scholar us who she works on this Sikhism, and she's involved in several kinds of the activities related to Sikhism studies. So with this, may I kindly request Dr. Bhagwant Kaur to deliver her lecture. So ma'am, please.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone, once again. And thanks, Dr. Dhruv. That was really very kind of you. That I don't know how much of that I deserve. But yes, it is a matter of great pride for me to be present here today. First of all, let me heartily congratulate you and your team for organizing this webinar. And I'm really extremely grateful for your kind invite. Actually, I received a call only yesterday and was told about this talk. So you'll excuse me for any mistake I might inadvertently make. I was initially thinking of giving a presentation, but the little time that I had was cruelly snatched away as one of my family members was tested positive yesterday. So I think I'll just talk to you, and I'm really humbled to have luminaries like our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Balwinder Shukla, whom we just heard, Group VC, Professor Gurinder Singh, and all our learned panelists. I can see a whole lot of them here. And before I start, let me assure you that I am really no authority. But I hope I'm able to deliver something that each one of us can carry back from this session. I've been allotted 40 to 45 minutes, and I hope to stay within that limit. Also, I would like, if this session today is interactive, I was told that there's going to be mixed audience today. So we have, as I believe, we have a number of scholars, your research scholars and students. So I hope I am pertinent to them. Now, before I start, let us just devote a minute and ponder what are our objectives, because that is what we do every time. Even when I start a course in the college, I ask my students to think why we are doing this. And I'm sure many of you must be thinking, ये क्या मुसीबत है, क्या यूजीसी ने पंगा डाल दिया, ये क्या करना है हमको. You must be thinking, many of our young people, young students think that it is indeed a waste of time. But let me assure you, it is not a waste of time. Today, we are going to discuss the life of a personality who is an integral part of our legacy and history. Professor Gurinder has already touched how important history is. I'll not go into detail into that, but let me tell you, the easiest way to eliminate a culture, a race, is to actually erase its history. Erase it and the race will disappear within a few decades maybe. If I remember right, it was, I think, George Santayana once he said, those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Guru Tegh Bahadur then is a very important chapter of our history. A chapter that has so much to teach us. Now, I've already heard the introduction, Professor Vice Chancellor Madam and Gurinder Singh and others, B.C. Das, Professor B.C. Das has spoken. Now, this is a quick one for the students. You've already heard. Now tell me, which Sikh Guru was he? You can unmute yourselves and answer. Anyone? You've already heard it. This is because I want to you to take something back from this session. Anyone? Okay, fine, I'll tell you. He was the 9th Sikh Guru. And you must have heard, Ma'am VC also had spoken about two very important historical places connected with him. One is Gurdwara Rakabganj and the other is Gurdwara Seesganj. Seesganj Gurdwara marks the site where the 9th Sikh Guru was beheaded on the orders of the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb on 11th November 1675. I'm going to talk today on three very important aspects of the Guru: his biography, his philosophy, and his supreme sacrifice. I'll go through the biography quickly, though we have had snippets from all the speakers before me. Guru Tegh Bahadur was born on 1st April 1621 in Amritsar and was named Tyaga Mal at birth. Come to think of it, such an apt name, Tyag. And I say no sacrifice is greater than the sacrifice that he made. And it is time that we think about it. What can we? No martyr I can find who has sacrificed more or who can be placed at a higher pedestal than Guru Tegh Bahadur or his family. No family has given so much for a cause. And what was the cause? It was not the personal cause. Yesterday I was just thinking about this and I Googled the topmost martyrs. And surprisingly, the name was nowhere there. Whose fault is it? I was wondering. It really put me off. Not even in the first 10. On the 13th list, I think, was Guru Arjan Dev Ji. And Guru Tegh Bahadur, I could not even find. I searched till 20th. So that is why we need to know. We need to know, we need to pay our respects to this person who sacrificed himself. His parents were Guru Har Gobind and Mata Nanki, and Guru Gobind for your Har Gobind. And he was a skilled and able fighter. He even, alongside with his father, he participated in different battles. However, he seemed to choose a path of renunciation and meditation. He got married to Mata Gujri in 1633. And later on, he moved to a village which was known as Bakala. There he started spending lots of time in contemplation and prayer. Guru Tegh Bahadur's father did not choose him as a successor, as he felt that the Sikhs at that time needed a more practical, a more worldly leader, and as his son had chosen the path of renunciation. He rather anointed his grandson, Guru Har Rai, as his successor. But after Guru Har Rai's death at the age of 31, his son Har Krishan became the 8th Guru. However, unfortunately, he just lived till the age of 7. And after that, there was a great confusion as to who would become the 9th Guru. But before his death, Guru Har Krishan had pronounced that the next Guru would be found in Bakala. And the words that he said was Baba Bakala. Now, this announcement, is a very interesting story behind this. It sent a number of pretenders. You can't don the saffron robe and become a saint, but you can look like a saint. So there was a beeline for Bakala, and each person, each pretender who claimed to be the guru. Now, there was, and how actually he came to be known and people recognized him as a guru, there's a story that goes behind it. There was this rich merchant. His name was Baba Makhan Shah Lubhana. Now, Lubhana was a rich tradesman, and and he used to send his ship to faraway shores to do trading. So once, while he was returning home with his ship, which was full of valuable goods, he was sailing actually towards Tremu harbor. So his ship was caught in a furious storm. And it almost seemed as if the end is going to come. Everything that could be done was done, but all seemed futile and impossible and hopeless. So all the people on board, which included Makhan Singh Labana, he thought this was the last day. When all seemed lost, this man, he just sits down, joins his hands in prayer. He was a devout Sikh. He pledged that he would give 500 gold coins if he saved that day. And then it is said that a miracle happened. Suddenly the wild seas, they calmed. And the ship was gently went back, went past those dangerous rocks, and without harm, he could reach the nearby harbor, which was the port of Surat. So after this miracle, he already was a devout Sikh, but now he recovered his strength, and then he made his journey towards Punjab because he wanted to, and had heard that the ninth guru would be in Bakala. So he wanted to fulfill his vow, and he wanted to present that 500 gold mohurs to Guru's charity. But then when he reached there, he saw not one, but 22 impostors. So he was confused. I was thinking, now how to find the true guru? So he did not know who was the right one. So what he started doing, just to test, now here is one of the Bhagat testing the guru instead of guru testing the Bhagat. He took out 2 gold coins and he started offering those 2 gold coins each to each one of those people who were sitting there. And as all of them were imposters, they were fake. They did not know what he had promised. So they were very happy. 2 gold coins, very good. Gold coins at that time meant a lot of money. So he did not know. So then what happened, as he was going out, someone told him there's another one sitting inside. Why don't you meet him too? So he goes inside. He places his 2 gold coins there in front of Guru Tegh Bahadur. Guru Tegh Bahadur looks at him, smiles and says, what is this? I saved you from the storm. I was awake the whole night. You promised 500 and now you're giving me these 2. So he at once knew who the real guru was. He fell on his feet and told him that he has found the real guru. So he rushes out in the city, starts shouting, Guru Lado Re, Guru Lado Re. This meant is, I have found the true guru. So this was how Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji was anointed the 9th guru of the Sikh. Guru Tegh Bahadur, if you look at the history of Sikhism, each guru has contributed in one way or the other. Guru Tegh Bahadur traveled far and wide. He even went to far-flung places like Assam and Dhaka, and he was preaching the word of Guru Nanak. He institutionalized, it was already there, the langar, which is the community kitchen for the poor. But he institutionalized that. And one important contribution was that he started community water wells. So you can realize. So long time back, he could realize the importance of water. And he was a great scholar. He composed many hymns, which are there today in Guru Granth Sahib. He wrote around 116 shabads, which are written in 15 ragas. And they cover, if you read them, they cover a wide range of topics. They talk of man's nature. They talk of nature of God. Most important, they talk of human attachment. This is a very, very prominent theme in his writing. Human attachment, whether you should be attached to all the materialistic goods. He talks of the body, he talks of the mind, he talks of sorrow, and he talks of death and deliverance. Then, at one point, he talks of what should constitute an ideal human being. And he says, Jo nar dukh mein dukh nahi mane. No, translated, it would mean that person who is not perturbed by misfortune, who's beyond comfort, who's beyond attachment, who's beyond fear, who considers even gold as dust. This person who never speaks ill of others. He's not very happy when someone praises him. He's not very sad when people shun him, ignore him, humiliate him. In such a person resides God himself. He's the ideal person. And if you look at this description, he fits into the bill so well. By 1665, he had founded the city of Anandpur Sahib. And now he had a lot of devotees and followers who would come and pay obeisance to him. But in 1672, a very important thing happened. He visited Kashmir. And there he saw the persecution of non-Muslims. I think it affected him. It had started from there. Today, when we talk of our religious freedom, we say, oh, we are free to follow any religion. That's written in the Constitution. Remember 1672 and that was a time when not many enjoyed this freedom. There was forced conversion. Many thousands were being killed if they refused to change their religion. And then one day, there were a few people from Kashmir who came to meet him. They were pandits, they were scholars, and they were being threatened. Now, they were pandits, they were scholars. They did not know how to fight. They were under threat of death by the Muslim Emperor Aurangzeb. And it was said that he really wanted everyone to convert, and he would not even have his food unless so and so many people, 100,000 people were converted every day. So they come to him and tell him their tale of woe and say, what do we do? And he is in deep thought. And as he's in deep thought, his 9-year-old son comes to him. He's just 9 years old, Guru Gobind. That time he was Guru Gobind Rai. He comes to him and tells him, Father, what's wrong? Why are you sad? What are you thinking? What are you pondering over? And he says, these people, today religion is in danger. Their religion is in danger. They have been asked to convert. And he asks him, then what according to you is the solution? And Guruji tells him, if only there could be someone who could stand up against the might of the Mughals. And remember that time, if you have read your histories, Mughals' rule was so dominant. But for that 9-year-old child, it did not take a moment to tell his father, what are you waiting for? Who could be more courageous than you? Go to Delhi. Because there's no one as brave than you. So as Professor Gurinder had just said, he goes to Delhi and he tells the emperor that, see, if you can convert me, I think everyone will accept it. This was the basic tenet of Sikhism. It is not enough to say, I am a Sikh. I respect and honor all other religions. No. If you are the Sikh mindset, I'm not talking of religion, but the Sikh mindset says, if you are a Sikh, you should be ready to protect the right of people of all faith. It's not just enough to say, I respect. What are you willing to do? अपने faith के लिए तो हर कोई करता है, दूसरों के लिए तुम क्या कर सकते हो? This was what, this is the mindset, that can move us. Can today we fight for someone else? Today we have to think. Today we have to question ourselves. Can we do that? Every day, there's so much enmity today being bred. Can we do that? Can we stand for someone? And this was a lesson. This is the most important lesson I think we can take from here. Later on, Guru Gobind Singh actually recorded the sacrifice in his in Dasam Granth. It's there in Vichitra Natak. So he was brought to Delhi. He was put in a cage, and they wanted, because it was easy to behead a person, but they wanted him to, because that would have meant defeat for Aurangzeb. He didn't want that. So he had his 3 followers with him, Matidas, Satidas, and Bhai Diyala. So he said, don't touch him first. Let him sit there. Let him sit in the cage and let him watch. So what do? One, they take a saw and cut him right from the head till down. Can you imagine that kind of a torture? I challenge you. Show me one page in history which has this kind of sacrifice. And people are not moved. They say, see, if you agree to us, we are going to give you rewards. But no. He's been cut in the middle from the head down with the sword, with the saw. The other one, they wrap him up in cotton and they burn him. The third one, there's a boulder, huge boulder. There's this fire burning underneath, and they put him in that boulder. This is summer. Today, when the temperature touches 40, 42, we feel so hot. When we burn our little finger sometime, we complain about it the whole day. And look at these people, these followers of the Guru, who are smiling, who are doing part, who are reciting his Bani, and say, no, you can take our head, but we will not bow our head. We will not convert, because this is our right. For 5 days, they tried to terrorize him into submission. And when they saw that he's not going to move, then on the 6th, he was beheaded in broad daylight in the middle of a public square, the Seasganj Square, the Chandni Chowk Square. And they said that he's preventing the spread of Islam, so he needs to die. So Guru Nanak earned the affectionate title of Hind Di Chadar, or Shield of India. So Guru Gobind Singh could later write that Tilak Janju Rakha Prabtaka. He died protecting Tilak and Janju. Kino bado kalu me saka. Can you find this was such an event which can be marked in history. And see the irony. The first guru, he refuses to wear the Janju. He says, I'm not going to wear this thread. What is this thread going to give me? There was this thread ceremony where they put the thread called Janju. He says, what is this? Give me the thread of contentment. Give me the thread of patience. Give me the thread of good deeds. I'm not going to wear this cotton thread. He refuses to wear the thread. And by the time ninth guru sacrifices his life for the same thread. Why? He says, because it's okay if I am following my religion. But everyone has the right to follow one's religion. And, sacrifices of the 10th guru was no less. He, later on, after his father, he thought that he has to make a warrior force, martial force. So he founded the Khalsa. He fought against the authority of Mughals. He says it's no use lying down. One must fight out. So he did fight. And when his 4 sons were sacrificed, and he comes back, and the mother of the 4 sons asked him, where are my loved ones? Where are my sons? And he replies, he looks at people around, says, in putran ke sees par var diye sudchar, char muhe to kya hua? Jeevat ke hazar. Look at this spirit. Can anyone kill this spirit? I don't think so. He says, so what if 4 have died? I have hundreds and thousands who are going to stay. And that's what we see today. So this kind of a sacrifice, this kind of life lived, I think it is exemplary. How can we forget them? And why not remember them? Why not remember them again and again so that we can imbibe, at least even if we can imbibe a very small portion, minuscule portion of what these gurus have done, I think our life would be so much more beautiful. There'll be so much less hatred. There'll be so much less tyranny in the world. I will try at the end, because I think I reached the end of my session. I'll just end with this lovely poem that I heard sometime back. सिखों के एहसान है इतने, कैसे कलम चलाऊंगी? सिखों के एहसान है इतने, कैसे कलम चलाऊंगी? सातों सागर स्याही कर दूर फिर भी ना लिख पाऊंगी। जिन बेटों ने बलिदानी इतिहास बनाकर डाल दिया, उन बेटों को बस हमने उपहास बनाकर डाल दिया। गुरु नानक ने पगड़ी सौंपी, देश धर्म की रक्षा हो, दूर हटे पाखंडवाद, जहां जन जन की रक्षा हो। गुरु तेग बहादुर को मिलने कुछ कश्मीरी आए थे, मुस्लिम अत्याचारों से वो सारे ही घबराए थे। कश्मीरी बोले, परेशान है गुरुजी दहशतगर्दी से, मुस्लिम सबको बना रहा औरंगजेब नामर्दी से। सोचा गुरु ने और कहा, भारी कीमत चुकानी है। सोचा गुरु ने और कहा, भारी कीमत चुकानी है। भारत देश मांग रहा इस समय बड़ी कुर्बानी है। सब शेरों को बोलो कि अब हाथों में हथियार रखें, और पिता से बोलो बेटों की अर्थी तैयार रखें। धन दौलत और सारी संपदा देश धर्म के नाम करें, माओ से बोलो कि अब निज बेटों का दान करें। एक पतंगा गुरु के दिल के भीतर तक चला गया, हुए रोंगटे खड़े, गुरु के हाथ कृपान पे चला गया। पीकर गुस्सा तेग बहादुर हो गए मौन, लंबी सांस खींचकर बोले, इतनी बड़ी कुर्बानी देगा कौन? बात हुई ऐसी उस दिन धरती अंबर डोल गए। 9 साल के गुरु गोविंद सिंह सबके सम्मुख बोल गए, कहा, पिताजी, उस शव पर भारत की नींव खड़ी हो गई। औरंगजेब से आप लड़ो, कुर्बानी बहुत बड़ी होगी। 9 साल के गुरु गोविंद जी सबके सम्मुख बोल गए, कहा, पिताजी, उस शव पर भारत की नींव खड़ी होगी। औरंगजेब से आप लड़ो, कुर्बानी बहुत बड़ी होगी। मैं अब भी शीश झुकाती हूँ उस दिल्ली के गलियारे में जहां गुरु का शीश गिरा था, शीशगंज गुरुद्वारे में। With these words, I end the session, and I hope I've been able to touch upon the topic, because the topic is so vast. The life I need needs many days of a webinar like this to really understand how much we owe to these people. That's all from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and the information, the valuable information that you have shared. And now I request all the panel members, Dr. Chandradeep Tandon sir, Dr. Simran ma'am, Dr. Sonia Kapoor, Dr. B.C. Das sir, to share their views and thoughts on that. So, Dr. Chandradeep Tandon sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dhruv. I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Guru
Tegh Bahadur ji's greatness has very nicely been, very aptly been summed up by our Honorable Vice Chancellor, our Group Vice Chancellor, and also in very descriptive manner by Dr. Bhagwant Kaur, which is indeed appreciable. In fact, I'm too small a person to say anything on his greatness. Nevertheless, I would like to recite something which is very, very important, and if I guess every human being imbibes it, perhaps this world will again be, the best place to live. I would like to recite, which was little bit touched by Dr. Bhagwan Kaur ji, a spiritual, a message which is there in Guru Granth Sahib by Guru Tegh Bahadur ji, which where he says, जो नर दुख में दुख नहीं माने, सुख स्नेह अर्भ है नहीं जाके कंचन माटी माने, नहीं निंद्या नहीं स्तुति जाके लोभ मोह अभिमाना, हर शोक ते रहे न्यारो नहीं मान अपमाना, आशा मानसा सकल त्यागे जगत ते रहे निराशा, काम क्रोध जही पर से नहीं तेही कट ब्रह्मा निवासा, गुरु कृपा जही नर पे कीन्ही तिन है जुगती पछाणी, नानक लीन पयो गोविंद सो जो पानी संग पानी. Which means the translation is just excellent. One who is not perturbed by misfortune, who is beyond comfort, attachment, and fear, who considers gold as dust. He neither speaks ill of others nor feels elated by praise and shuns greed, attachments, and arrogance. He is indifferent to ecstasy and tragedy and is not affected by honors or humiliations. He renounces expectations, greed. He is neither attached to the worldliness nor lets senses and anger affect him. In such a person resides God. This is something which Guru Tegh Bahadur ji said many years ago. This was vision of Guru Tegh Bahadur ji at that point of time. This is what I wanted to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing your views. And now may I request Professor Simran Tandon ma'am to share her thoughts and views.
After hearing about the sacrifices and the struggles of Guru Tegh Bahadur, it is truly inspirational. And whenever we, as individuals, look for a role model, I don't think there could be a better role model than Guru Tegh Bahadur ji. I mean, not only was he a humanitarian, a philosopher, an architect, he, apart from having his soft side, he was also, when duty called, he was ready to fight as a warrior for those individuals who could not fight for themselves. So I think there can be no greater role model who we should be following uh, rather than compared to Guru Tegh Bahadur ji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. May I kindly request now Dr. Sonia Kapoor, ma'am, to share her views.
It was a very heartful. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a very heartful lecture by Dr. Bhagwant Kaur. Now that you all know that we are celebrating the this 1 year program, this entire year has been dedicated to commemorating the 400-year birth anniversary of Guru Tegh Bahadur ji. And as today's speaker, ma'am, has also elaboratedly told us about the biography, the philosophy of Guru Tegh Bahadur ji, and you see there are so many lessons to learn from what we have heard and what we have known today. So all the panel members have already elaborated on it, and if you look at it, uh, he was born as the fifth son of Guru Har Gobind Singh Ji, and it is said that when he was born, his father proclaimed, as soon as he saw him, he said that he will be the leader, he will be the savior of the mankind one day. And he was given the name Tyagmal by his father. But at the age of 14 years only, he showed his bravery in the Battle of Kiratpur, and he earned the name Guru Tegh Bahadur. So one message that is very clear from his life history is that you will be known by the work that you do. So his birth name was not Tegh Bahadur, but he earned that name by showing his bravery, his valor in the battle against Mughals. So we will be known by the work that we do. Our deeds will decide what we will be known for. So one message that I would like to give to all the young participants who are here: uh, uh, follow the path and do something with which you will be known for. Another thing which we have already, all the panel members have also touched upon, is that he was not ready to compromise. He did not compromise on his religion. He said, "Mera sir jave, mera tan jave, meri sikhi sidak na jave." Means my life goes, my head goes, but my sikhi doesn't go away. And it is not about the Sikhi, it is not just the religion, it is about the whole, as speaker ma'am has also said, Dr. Bhagwankar has also mentioned that it is not about religion, it is about the whole set of principles, the lifestyle. So integrity is the pickup which we can actually take and live with it. We have to live for the integrity, and we have to maintain that. So this is another lesson that he teaches us, that we will not compromise on the integrity principles. Thirdly, which another point which has touched me today is that he sacrificed his life, not just for his principles, it is for the benefit of Kashmiri Pandits. When they approached him and they said, as you have heard, that they were Pandits, they were not warriors. So he actually sacrificed not just for himself, but for Kashmiri Pandits. And you know what he said? Baha jinadi fadiye, baha jinadi fadiye, sar dije, baha na chadiye. So another principle which he has taught is live for others. Choose to be compassionate, choose to devote your life to someone else. We all live for ourselves, we can achieve whatever we want to do, but there are people who would need you. So be ready to help them, and be ready to be compassionate and loving to them in whatever manner you can be. So I think I have just mentioned today's speakers have also mentioned, and all panel members have also mentioned. So with this, I would like to end here. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. May I kindly request now Dr. B.C. Das, sir, to give concluding remarks.
So before I will not make much conclusion. I only thank all the speakers and these, including our Honorable Vice Chancellor and the Group Vice Chancellor, Professor Gurinder Singh, and all the panel members, and of course the main speaker of the day, Dr. Uh, Dr. Bhagwant Kaur. I really thank all of them for their immense interest and the many of the aspects which they have projected of the great Guru Tegh Bahadur ji, and we have a lot of lessons to learn from his life, and it is for the young generation. It is important for all of us, and these are to be carried in our life and in our the teachings and the learnings that we follow in our life. And these, lastly, what she is the youngest of all, Dr. Sonia, but she has put very nicely 3 points that what are the lessons we can take from his the great guru's teachings in from his life. But before we go for a concluding the vote of thanks, I would once again request Professor Gurinder Singh for a last word. Professor Gurinder Singh, please. Yeah, I would appreciate your last comments and words. So before we go for a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Professor Das. And once again, big thank you to Dr. Bhagwant Kaur. I think that the way you have been able to convey the teachings of Guru Tegh Bahadur ji, no one could have been a better speaker than conveying the feelings of everyone. I think that he was Guru of all religions, because people used to respect him, people used to take him as a role model, because there are many who will be able to live by their own lives, but there are very few who will be able to inspire the generations. I think the young generation in all the universities have to see that how our great forefathers, they have been able to teach us the lesson of compassion, lesson of sacrifice, lesson of taking people together, lesson of that how you should be able to shed your egos and take it forward. It also reminds me of a Sakhi. If Dr. B.C. Das, you permit, it's just 2 minutes. Once someone who was very literate and was very rich came to the darbar, right, of one of the gurus. And he said that, Guruji, I will like to tell you about various Upanishads, various religious scholarly things. And he kept on speaking, kept on speaking, kept on speaking. And Guruji just kept on listening. After he spoke, he said that I'm sure that you are convinced that I'm a very learned man. So Guruji just smiled, right? And he said that, will you now offer me a seat of sitting close to the Guru? So he wanted to be a Guru and wanted to sit close to the Guru. Guruji just smiled and said that it will take long years for you to understand that what life really is, right? And he went from there, right? So that person was not able to understand that what he actually meant. But after many years, he was able to understand that even if you are very knowledgeable, even if you are very rich, but if you don't have humbleness, if you don't have compassion, if you are only believing in psychophancy, or if you're only for positions, you will never be able to reach and become the champion of the human hearts. After many years, he again met Guruji, right? And he said that I have not been able to understand your things at that point of time. But then I started introspecting, because he asked that what should I do? So Guruji said that daily you need to see you do one thing, that you start asking yourself that are you close to God, to Ram, right? Ram means God here. Are you close to Ram? Are you close to God, right? And if you are able to meditate 24 hours, it means that you have understood all the religions. He tried for 1 day, he tried for 2 days, he tried for weeks, he tried for years, he was not able to. And finally, when he was able to understand it, he could understand that happiness is not in positions, happiness is not in money, happiness is not in imposing yourself on others, but happiness is aligning yourself with the God. And that is what I think the message of Guru is. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji was really an inspiration. I think that he sent many messages. He not only sacrificed his life, but he also sent a message that togetherness, humbleness, sacrifices can make you strong. With these words, once again, thank you everyone. Dr. Bhavan Kaur Ji, keep on coming to Amity. It will be our pleasure to see you again at the campus. On
Thank
behalf
you,
of,
sir. Keep on inviting me.
Thank you.
on behalf of our founder, Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, Professor Das, Dr. Tandon, Dr. Simran Tandon, Dr. Sonia Kapoor, and everyone, right? We once again thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And Dhruv, you can go for the vote of thanks.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, Professor Dr. Gurinder Singh, sir.
Is there any chat box? Is there any question?
Any questions? No, sir. I don't see any questions from any questions, sir.
Okay.
So shall I go for the vote of thanks now?
Yeah, please.
So first of all, I would like to thank our today's speaker, Dr. Bhagwant Kaur. She has nicely explained the life and the sacrifice, the devotion of Guru Tegh Bahadur Singh Ji. I remember when I was 3 years old, and in some of the activities, I got this, the information. And since then, even today, every morning, when we have a 1 hour session where time to time we discuss, we teach our kids, the elderly people, we learn such kind of, the sacrifices, those who sacrificed their life for the nation. And Honorable Vice Chancellor, ma'am, very nicely she has shared the story of Guru Tegh Bahadur Singh Ji. Honorable Professor Dr. Gurinder Singh, sir, it's a very inspirational story you have shared and the facts about Guru Tegh Bahadur Singh Ji. Dr. Chandradeep Tandon, sir, Professor Simran Tandon, ma'am, Dr. Sonia Kapoor, ma'am, you have shared lots of information regarding Guru Tegh Bahadur Singh Ji that will certainly inspire the young generation and motivate the young generation to help each other and to support the needy people. At the end, I would like to thank Professor Dr. B.C. Das, sir, the chairman and of EMSR and Dean of Health and Allied Sciences, for giving me this opportunity to organize this webinar. And I see this is a very, very important webinar that we have organized. Our institute is molecular medicine and stem cell research. We only talk about science. But here is the first webinar that we have gone out of science, out of our box. And I think that this is the most important webinar that we have organized so far. So we have to learn and also to teach our kids, the next generation, what the people in the past they have done for our nation. So just one line I have written for Guru Tegh Bahadur Singh Ji. With this I will conclude that ना तलवार की धार से, ना तलवार की धार से, ना उबलते हुए रक्त से, ना तलवार की धार से, ना उबलते हुए रक्त से, भारतवासियों हमने सींचा है इस धरती को अपने शीश से, हमें कभी नहीं इसे भुलाना चाहिए. We should never forget this. We should teach to each and every generation, each and every person, that how much sacrifice people have done. So with this, I would like to thank all the speakers today, the panel members, and the audience, the participants, those who have participated in this webinar, and the speaker.